ගතේ හැකි මිනිසුන් සපිරි දේශයක් ගොඩනං වන්නට අවැසි මහසවියක් ඔබ නූපන් පරපුර සරු කරන විසල් උරුමයේ හෙට දවස උදා ඉරක්සේ රටටමයි සජිත් ජනහද ගැස්මේ සිහිනයයි සජිත් ගමට නගරයට එක ලෙසට සජිත් පරිණතනි කැවැල් සලකුණයි සජිත් හිසට සෙවනක් එකම තෙරණක් දයට අපමණ අලුත් හැඟුමක් උදා කළ මැන දැකුම් කළුමන ජනිත මදහස් මිනිස් පවුරක් නිල්ල පිරෙනගෙත් සුපිපෙන සමරුතිරිනය තනන්නේ දෙසා පසට ලෙයලදී හුස්ම වැටෙන ඔයි නොනිදන යකඩ මිනිසා උදා ඉරක්සේ රටටමයි සජිත් ජනහද ගැස්මේ සිහිනයයි සජිත් ගමට නගරයට එක ලෙසට සජිත් පරිණතනි කැවැල් සලකුණයි සජිත්
When I was a small boy, I used to hear my father through the bathroom door practicing English while he showered. If he had a speech to give in English, he would practice non-stop. His unceasing effort to achieve excellence had a profound impact on me. Watching him struggle made me believe that acquiring English language skills, grammar skills, pronunciation, effective speaking, and so on, skills that were important. The internet is full of memes about my English skills, but this is the backstory. Friends, everything has a backstory, and it's never what you think it is. If you watch Sri Lankan news, read online comments, or just happen to eavesdrop on any conversation, it's all about how corrupt the politicians of this country are, how morally, economically, and socially bankrupt Sri Lanka is today. But there is a backstory. The makeup of old Sri Lanka was a mixture of caste, class, and ethnicity. Honorable S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike, having recognized this, launched his campaign for power in the 1950s with a 5-pillar platform, namely Buddhist clergy, indigenous physician, school teacher, farmer, and laborer. Sangha Veda Guru Govi Kam Karo. Madam Srimao Bandaranaike continued this legacy. Since then, be it President Jayawardena, Madam Chandrika, or President Rajapaksa, Sri Lankan politics is a grabbing of power based on ethnicity or class. The only break in this system was with my late father, even to rise within the United National Party ranks with no class or caste credentials was no easy feat, let alone being the president of this country. Our entire political system is based on caste, class, elitism, and ethnicity. And our political system reflects the divisions that run deep in our society and culture. Politics in Sri Lanka is nothing but a power struggle. Either it is an appeal to the Sinhala majority or an appeal to the rest of the communities, or it is a win for the elite versus the working class and the middle class. Every political campaign strategy is formulated to manage this vote bank, divided along the lines of caste, class, elitism, and ethnicity. That's why, for my presidential campaign of 2019, I followed the path of Ekva Idiriyata, forward together. I very staunchly and sincerely believe that Sri Lanka's sustained progress is only possible when we leave behind our caste, class, elitism, and ethnic identities and move forward together as simply Sri Lankans. What we inherited from our colonial past has not served us well. It has, in fact, destroyed us. A racist, a classist, or a communist cannot bring forth the necessary economic and social reforms because of their divisive politics. I am being very forthright when I say all of us must give up something to move forward. We cannot create reforms where one community or class is protected against change. Every man and woman and child will have to change in order to move forward. So, friends, don't fight for the group you represent. Fight for the realization of the Sri Lankan dream. A new Sri Lanka, which has shared prosperity, inclusive growth, respect for each other's ethnic and religious backgrounds, protection of the democratic principles which provide us with new energies in order to promote progress. Let go of the fears and insecurities. Stop entertaining politicians who are fear-mongering or trying to be revolutionaries, or politicians who are trying to protect a particular class. We must think as one people. We must unite. We must come together. The present crisis has given us the opportunity to rise above our petty differences. Japan, Singapore, Vietnam, Korea, China, India are all examples of countries that entered a sustained period of growth after a deep crisis. Crises have acted as springboards. It takes a crisis to embrace change. What I really want us to understand is that the change we achieve is not simply which economic model we adopt, but how do we ensure growth is not sabotaged by various groups that are lobbying for their own protection from change. That's where the right leadership becomes important and imperative. In the short term, it will be difficult. There may be challenges, but they are not insurmountable. We will reap the benefits in the medium and long term. We are planting trees now, not just for us to enjoy the shade, but also to provide protection and insurance for our children. Everyone in this room has invested in education. Please make it your mission to educate those around you, that people who are trying to lead this country, the classists, the communists, the extremists, are the very people who brought to power the most corrupt family in this country. This kleptocratic governing elite has destroyed our motherland. Let me be very clear. The only way to move forward is to leave them behind and for all of us to come together. To unite this country, we need laws that are applicable to all in the same manner. We need a modern system of education. We need secular schools who cannot intake children based on religion. And we need to be proficient and educated in English and information communication technology and computer science, to name a few of the smart subjects that we are concerned about. Private education should be allowed to exist with regulation, with much of the education moving online. Why would we control what happens in the physical space? Free education is a fundamental right and a human right that should be modernized and improved. And we shall embark on a path to ensure that free education in our country is truly free. It truly entails empowerment of all and acts as a catalyst to remove divisions in our society, poverty and deprivation. Healthcare should continue to improve through digitization and private investments. At the same time, we have to reduce the burden on the healthcare system through preventive healthcare measures. We need to make a big leap in telemedicine and manage the high rate of non-communicable diseases in Sri Lanka. Free healthcare is an indispensable ingredient of a welfare state. It will be well funded and it will be made efficient in a Samagi Jana Balawegaya administration. Approximately half of the country are suffering from abject poverty. The need of the hour is to initiate a national program that promotes poverty alleviation. Any poverty alleviation program must include 5 major elements in order to make it a success. It should promote investment, take care of consumption needs, promote production, enhance savings, and try to act as a catalyst to promote exports. We in Samagi Jana Balawegaya are not proponents of the extreme right-wing nor the extreme left-wing ideology. We believe in social democracy. We fervently believe that wealth can only be created by capitalism. But such capitalism has to be humane. We sincerely believe in capitalism with a human face. We also reject statism, command control system, communism, and extreme socialism as a prescription for the ills in our society. But we also believe that social democratic ideals and certain socialist ideals are important in establishing social justice, getting rid of inequalities in our society. This is the way forward. We don't subscribe to the neoliberal trickle-down politics, trickle-down economics, which believes in empowering the rich so that benefits would percolate down to the bottom levels. We reject that totally. At the same time, we fervently believe extreme socialism has no place in our society. It is an ideology that has to be rejected by the electorate of our country. Friends, the brain drain that is in existence in our society will reduce only if we create the right reforms, if we attract more and more foreign direct investments and create opportunities in our country. We must play to our strengths, especially our strategic location when it comes to shipping lanes and our proximity to India. India has over 1 billion people. We have 22 million, which means trade deals that provide easy access to big markets such as India and China would inevitably benefit our country. We must improve efficiency through digitization of government processes such as tenders, tax collection, various subsidy programs, so that corruption is eradicated. Establish rule of law by dismantling ecosystems that create a politicized judiciary. Enforce one law in the country. Create a culture through schools. Leverage our strategic location with India through trade deals and work with big market countries like China. Plan foreign direct investment to fix the brain drain and create a global Sri Lankan identity through the Overseas Citizens Sri Lanka program. The cancer of corruption must be eradicated I would like to take the opportunity at this juncture to congratulate the members of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya Intellectual Forum and for the Samagi Jana Balawegaya Lawyers Collective, who took a brave position and took upon the challenge to take to court, the highest court of the land, those who perpetrated economic terrorism. With your efforts, the Supreme Court provided the 22 million people of this country with a decision that would have beneficial consequences when a government that has the people's mandate is in place in our country. We are also concerned by the anti-corruption infrastructure that is in existence right now. We must ensure that the anti-corruption structures, procedures and processes are transparent, responsible, accountable, and devoid of political interference. If we are to achieve that laudable goal, it is imperative that we include the anti-corruption institutions as independent, standalone institutions in the supreme law of the land, in the constitution of the country, so that whenever there are changes in government, the constitutional provisions are structured and placed and formulated in such a manner that they cannot be changed by a simple majority in Parliament. Friends, as I address you, I feel a great deal of enthusiasm, energy, positive sentiment amongst yourselves. The urge to make a difference, active participation in the policy process are essential to ensure sound, effective public policy decision making. As you know very well, the policy cycle today is confined to the theory books of political science. Much of governmental decision making and public policy decision making are mere knee-jerk reactions and ad hoc attempts to caricature public policy as being sound. I take this opportunity to ensure that all of you, distinguished participants at the Samagi Jana Balawegaya Intellectual Forum, that you will be bestowed with a prime responsibility in the policy process, policy initiation and formulation, policy decision making, policy implementation, evaluation, monitoring, and feedback. And I invite all of you to recruit the best and the brightest in the system of academia that is presently in place in Sri Lanka's higher education system. So these are indicative of some of the reforms that we will implement. We understand the kind of social and economic reforms that are needed to create the right conditions for growth. Be ready to change. Change is not difficult if we believe in ourselves. We have gone through so much of pain in the history of our motherland, and through a disciplined approach, we can overcome all obstacles to reach the highest levels of prosperity. We can do this. We will do it like winners, and we will do it as one people. Samagi Buddhi Samagi Jana Balawegaya Jai Veva. Silu denatama Peruwan Saranai. Vanakkam. Assalamu alaikum.